Let's bring in North Dakota Senator Kevin Cramer. Senator, terrific to see you. I will borrow something that Larry Kudlow was saying earlier today. For all of the criticism by the left of President Trump as being an isolationist, and what has happened today, bringing parties together, Vladimir Putin, Zelensky, and trying to broker a peace deal, bringing hostages home, whether from Russia, whether from people who've been captive in, say, Venezuela. This is just purely astonishing.
Well, it's refreshing, Dagan, to see a president who's active, to see a cabinet secretary who's traveling, meeting with world leaders, negotiating America First deals that are mutually beneficial to our partners. This is what real leadership looks like. For 4 years, we've watched a president take a 4-year nap. And it's hard to even come up with a news story a week from the Biden administration. Now the media can't keep up with all the news in a day. And it's so fun to see this very active, energetic, deal-making, business-leading America First president and his team work on the world stage. And you know what? Today's actions, just watching Secretary Bessent with President Zelensky, it makes my heart warm and makes me smile, because do you know who's really concerned about that? Vladimir Putin, Xi Jinping, Kim Jong-un, I mean the Ayatollahs. Suddenly our adversaries have something to worry about and our allies have something to cling to.
You know, Senator, one of the things I really like about this, we have a president who's using the instruments of national power. Scott Bessent's over there. That's the economic end. He's making clear statements, as did Secretary of Defense Pete Hegseth, on the military and the relationship, also outlining the relationship of how much money America actually spends versus Europe and what they need to do in their neighborhood. I got to tell you, I mean, this is what we need, the dime strategy. I know you know it. It needs to be applied.
It needs to be applied, and how we talk about it, David, matters. This is why Pete Hegseth, while all the complaints about him, during all of that time, there was one thing that was absolutely a fact, and that is he projects strength like Donald Trump projects strength. That strengthens our economic message. It gives more leverage to the peacemaking process. And it frightens our adversaries, and it warms our allies. Just last night, I spoke to 12 of the 13 premiers from Canada, a couple of hundred Canadian business leaders, the ambassador, and the thing I told them is, and by the way, I heard from a lot of them as well, listening to them. They don't love this tariff thing, but they are committed to restoring Canada's role in funding NATO as it should, funding its own national defense as it should, having a better, stronger, partnership with the United States in protecting the North American continent as it should. All of that is because of one thing. Donald Trump won the election, and when he says he'll do something, you can count on him doing it, and if he says he wants something, you should give it to him, because he cares about America and the world, and it's just such a fun day just to watch it all play out on the global stage.
Senator Cramer, you are on the Senate Banking Committee, and a source has told Fox Business that Jamie Dimon of J.P. Morgan, Brian Moynihan of Bank of America, and other bank leaders are meeting with senators on the Banking Committee to talk about preventing debanking. And we have covered it very much here. Operation Choke Point 2.0. Where the FDIC specifically and the Consumer Financial Protection Bureau went after crypto founders to to debank them. We know that they did it based on the hearings, and really put them out of business. What can you tell us about these meetings?
Sure. So one of the things, I'm anxious to hear from all of them. I know obviously all of them quite well. I have been pushing legislation that I've introduced that now has 41 co-sponsors in the newest iteration, called Fair Access to Banking Act, because I think that any FDIC-insured bank in America, I don't want to require them to do certain things, but I want to prohibit them from being able to categorically discriminate against entire industries, whether it's the oil and gas industry or the private prison industry, the munitions and firearm industry, or the crypto industry, or any number of industries that are legal and even constitutionally protected. I'm anxious to hear from these presidents because I think, Dagan, even without legislation and even without new rules, and I think we still ought to pursue them, I think the bank presidents are figuring it out, that the marketplace agrees with us. And the loud noise in their left ear needs to be countered by the loud noise in the right ear. And I'm anxious to hear the discussion. I've been in many of them. I've even brought some of them to North Dakota to talk to our innovators on how we can meet some of their goals. But remember, long before before the regulators were pushing this, the banks were already drifting to the DEI, ESG movement because they were yielding to the young people in their workforce, as well as the investors and the activist investors. So it's time to take that burden off their shoulders once and for all. And so I think we're seeing a trend happening, but we need to continue to facilitate it.
Right. They were debanking conservatives, even not-for-profits, but this was ordered from on high at the FDIC. Name names, Senator. Let's name some names. Senator Kevin Cramer, great to see you, sir. Thank you so much.
Thank you, sir.